Hello and welcome to A Plus Wrestling here on A Plus Productions. It has been a busy week in the world of professional wrestling, and we are going to be your tour guides talking through the week that was and the week that will be, and we're going to be reviewing last night's excellent Saturday night's main event presented by WWE here on A Plus Wrestling. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and I am joined by old friend Daxavier, Josiah. Dax, how's it going?
Great to be back. Feels good. Hope all is well. Happy holidays, wrestling fans.
Yes. We are inching closer and closer and closer to the holidays, which means that we are also inching closer and closer to the end of the year. And in many tradition, as this show and many shows before this incarnation, we are going to have the best and the worst of 2024, and it's open to everyone. You can just go to the A Plus Wrestling Facebook group, find the thread. I'll actually add it to the show notes to make it a lot easier for everyone, and you'll be able to vote for your best and the worst of 2024. And we're going to have a couple specials for you to end the year, begin the year. We're still debating on timing, but we're going to have the best and the worst, which is always a lot of people's favorite shows. Dax, I hope you can participate in the thread.
Yeah, I'm in on this one. I'm actually, because you'd be surprised. I mean, you won't be surprised because you've been engulfed in all this, in the abyss of all this. But a lot has happened in 2024. I mean, it's just been some wildness going on this year. Like, to the point that, like, even for my show, I'm looking back at some of the things that, like, I looked at, reviewed, watched, whatever, stuff like that, the events that is happening. I'm like, I forgot all this happened in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much has happened, and I feel like it's such a small time. I still feel like this is what? This is March.
I know. It honestly does. You know how they say that as you get older, the year flies by? Like, I don't know how old I am, but, like, this year, I feel like I blinked. You know that meme? When the guy blinks and it's like December, like that's honestly how this year has felt.
No, I hate that statement as well, because I heard it many times when I was like in my 20s and I heard people in their 40s and 50s say that. Yeah, it's real, because especially the more that you do, the more that I think it is a matter of, I think only busy people say that.
Yeah.
Because the more that you do, like you can't even dwell on the things that you've been a part of or done throughout it, because you're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going and keeps going. It's like, damn. But it's a good thing too, because it's like, you look back. This is why I tell everybody who's like grinding, stop and look back at what you've done, because you'll look back and look at the damage that you've done, good damage, hopefully. And you look back at, yeah, you cannot look at your case, but you look back and it's like, look at everything that I've done. My God. And you need to do that. Like, that's therapeutic. That's, self-efficacy. Like, it's really crazy, especially if you're constantly on the go, you're doing projects, you're grinding and stuff like that. You got to, other project after project. You need to stop and chill and look back. Just turn around for like just a few seconds.
100%. And the other important thing, like to that point, that I literally had this conversation a few hours ago, is you have to surround yourself with people who support you. And when you do look back and kind of do a Barry Horowitz, people don't like say, oh, you're just being cocky or something. No, you're allowed to be cocky. You're allowed to be proud.
You know who don't? Yeah, you're right. You know who doesn't say that? Other people who also grind, because they get it.
Exactly. Exactly. So surround yourself with the right people. That is my biggest takeaway of 2024, is trusting your intuition and surrounding yourself with the right people. That's honestly my big takeaway for this year.
Couldn't be more true.
And if you want to read into stuff, stop, because I'm just talking in general. Lots happened in my life in 2024.
As an old former coworker who I just got a picture of him yesterday. Two of my former co-hosts of my show who passed away, unfortunately, years back. I mean, one of the things he used to say it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So take it for what you will. We just keep it moving.
Exactly. You know, I have to ask, and I know this is the wrestling show, but I got to ask real quick because obviously this is going to go into promoting your other stuff. Game Awards. What did you think of the results?
I thought did a whole rundown of that on my show, but I thought they did I always enjoy the Game Awards. Just an appreciation of what Jeff Keighley has done for not just his own self, but for the gaming industry. And I think people, you can say what you want about the Game Awards, whether you like it or not. You need to sit back again and take notice of the accomplishments that man has done. This guy he's one of the last remnants of G4.
Yeah.
He's one of the last remnants. And who knew that he was going to be the Ryan Seacrest of video games? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's astounding. He got all these A-list celebrities every year to come on and sing. I think this year particularly was so well done. Nobody stupidly going on stage doing stupid stuff. There is a lot of controversy going on involving the strikes and everything, but they didn't. It was a subtle message.
Yeah,
to stuff like that.
What I appreciate is the fact that because for a few years before this year, I found that it started feeling like the MTV Video Awards or the music or the movie ones, where it just felt like a joke, like they were making fun of themselves and the industry. But now, especially this year, I felt like they really took their time and they made it feel special. They made it feel like their WrestleMania, if we're gonna put it into wrestling terms, as opposed to their whatever.
I mean, the production value was awesome. I will also say the celebrity appearance, like Harrison Ford, man.
Yeah.
For him to come on stage and then to give flowers to Troy Baker, that's huge. First of all, I did not really realize that was Troy Baker doing the voice of Harrison Ford. That's why that man is making the money that he's making. He's one of the top voice actors of all. He's the pinnacle. Him and Nolan North are the pinnacle for a reason. That dude is no joke. Had no idea, but I digress from that point. The production value was just great. I thought they did a stellar job, and yeah, you're right. It does feel prestigious at this point. And God, it's just every year it just gets like the budget just seems like it gets bigger.
Well, the video game industry gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger each and every single year, and I think people are finally starting to catch on how much money there is in video games, which is why there's more pressure and the industry is having this. People are saying the video game industry is starting to fail and starting to show its cracks. No, it's adapting because of the pressures, because there are now pressures and new pressures.
Another thing that I want to point out too is that like prior years, like we had celebrity guests there, like huge celebrity guests, but they didn't it didn't come off as like they really knew what they were doing, why they were there, or they were just like phoning it in just to get a paycheck. Like now we got celebrities who actually have been invested in these games, have been a part of these games, understand the genre, the lore, the mythologies, and all this stuff. And it seems like it makes the actual show better because now you got people who know how much of a cool thing it is to be a part of this now. And they're making it cool just being like, I remember Al Pacino was in there once, and I'm like, I feel like I love Al Pacino, but he just did not look like he understood what was going on with this thing. Where things going. There were other celebrities there prior years that were just reading. Like I remember Jeff Keighley doing this like little segment where he was talking to them. Oh, almost like how you watch WWE or whatever, and they're talking to somebody on a Titantron when it's pre-recorded.
Yeah,
and they're trying to make it sound like they're talking, simulcasting when it's not, and it just comes off so like lame. Now it just feels like the celebrities that they're choosing to come in there are celebrities that are part of it or have been nominated. They get it. They understand it all. And it just makes the entire experience much better. So every year, to me, it gets better with that.
At the end of the day, it's understanding your audience and talking about understanding your audience. This is the perfect
respecting the audience.
Respecting the audience. And that is the wrestling industry for the most part, specifically WWE right now. Dax, you have been away from WWE prior to 2024 for about a decade, maybe even more. Talk to me about how it feels being back. And like, this is the new era, but this is like unprecedented stuff.
One of those things that like just flew right by. Now I feel like I've been watching it for a hot minute, but in reality, I just started day one.
Literally.
Literally day one of 2024. And yeah, this is the WWE that I've been waiting for quite some time. This is WWE that I knew they could be. this was the WWE that they once were, but I feel like it's better. It something feels less toxic about it. And we don't need a crystal ball to predict the obvious of that, but it just feels right. They're doing the right things. So many right things right now. It's incredible. I enjoy watching that show. Sadly, much more than AEW right now. And that's no slight on AEW, but it's just something missing that they are having right now, that they are doing right. Stories are just solid. Characters are solid. The in-ring stuff is solid. I mean, mostly like pretty good to damn awesome at that point right now. Which is the one thing that AEW has right now is the wrestling is always just stellar, but there's just something missing from that we got to try to dissect and figure out. But right now, I am happy. I feel like this is the right time for me to be back in that company, and they seem to be on the right track. I love also the fact that they're keeping the politics out of there.
Yeah.
Unlike other TKO companies.
I was literally going to say, like, honestly, it just feels like a rally every time I watch a UFC show nowadays, but that's time. We're going to leave it at that. We're not here to talk politics, but we're here to talk about wrestling and all things wrestling of the week that was. And I think that, look, man, it's kind of funny. So reading through the A Plus Productions Facebook group and the Slam group and things like that, it's interesting because a lot of people this week were like, Raw was good, but not as good as last week. It's kind of funny where it's like the average show at this point now is good to great for WWE.
Yeah. Which it was for the other company a while back too. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to do that. I hate to put every single episode on a pedestal because not every episode should be epic. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you can't have an Emmy Award winning episode, more like you can't have an Oscar winning movie all the time, but it just needs to be enjoyable. It needs to tell the story or continue to transition the story along. It just needs to flow. Even if you get 1 week it's a transitional week, that's fine. But you can't expect every single week to be great, to be like the greatest of all time. But as long as it keeps the storyline going, I'm fine. But that's what they've been doing. It's a consistency that I enjoy about this show.
There's a flow, right? There's a good flow right now. Like, I feel like in WWE, everything is happening for a reason. Whether that reason is going to be settled this episode, next episode, or at the PLE, everything is happening for a reason. And that's something, it reminds me of the actually good Vince Russo booking, where it felt like everyone had a story and everything
during the Attitude Era.
Exactly. And everything happened for a reason. And everything, there was a reason for each and every single little thing to happen. And that's what I'm really liking about WWE right now. And it's just been a great week, right? Like, it's just been a really good week, topped off by a excellent Saturday night's main event last night.
Everything went right for that show. It was just amazing. My biggest fear was Jesse. He did not miss a beat at all.
You know what? My first thing about Jesse Ventura and my concern with him is, this is someone
he goes off on his tangent.
It wasn't even that. It was more so, he probably doesn't watch the product week to week. But you would never guess that. He fucking knew. Even if he just caught like the last week of episodes.
Consummate professional is the key. Also, politician.
Yes.
And and him with Joe Tessitore, who by the way, I'm a huge fan of Joe Tessitore.
Big time.
I don't care look, people, if y'all didn't watch Holy Moly when that show was out, you got to understand why this dude is so awesome. I mean, whether you watch college football or you just watch anything he's done, I'm telling you, when it comes down to it, if he stays in long enough for WWE, he's getting a Hall of Fame ring.
He is going to be
without
a suitable
question
replacement for Michael Cole, who I want to give flowers to.
Gotta give him
excellent. And you know what?
This is the Michael Cole that we've been wanting to see forever, but we knew he was under the ear of Vince for the whole time. And he is since Paul Levesque gave him the way, let him do his thing. He's been absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
I've never once complained about anything and there's a contrast between what he was back then and what he is now.
Yep. And it's what I appreciated the most, and other companies in WB Discovery can take note of this is they did an excellent job with videos, production, and commentary of telling us why each match is happening, why each match matters, and why these two people in the ring don't like each other.
Yes, the video package helped. By the way, did they ever really do that in the old Saturday Night's Main Event? I don't recall them doing that.
I don't, not to this extent. Not to this extent.
Yeah. But it was just well done. And if you know what it is too, because what was smart about it is strategic planning at its best, because you're on NBC. And yes, it's a classic tradition, but you're in a new generation of new fans who may not actually watch it and may watch other things during that time of the night. And this is on. And if you're watching it and you see all these spectacular things going on, a spectacle, that introduction, and they've improved that a lot. Because even when I watch NXT now, they're showing it. There's so many people on NXT and so much to do. They're finally tagging everybody with their names. On there, which is I was struggling for a time because I'm new. I was new to everything, and I'm sure like, who the hell is this? Who is now everything's happening from there, and they're continuing to do that. They're catering to the casuals as well as the hardcore.
It's possible, people. It's possible, people. And this is what I've been saying for years about AEW. And again, I'm not trying to harp on AEW so much, but this goes to show you that you can have a network special for the hardcores and the casuals and the people who don't watch every week. Dax, let me tell you something.
We are harping on this for a sec. Let's say that. Let's be real. Like, we are harping on it because we should be critiquing them in that way, because we used to do a show that we used to praise this from. And there was a time when they earned the praise. We got to keep it real when they're not.
Exactly.
So
that's exactly
until that times, then we got to keep it real.
Let me tell you why I'm praising WWE right now for getting the casuals and making it easy for casual to understand and give a shit about what's happening on their TV. I was watching this show at my local watering hole. It was like, I've been feeling really good. And last night I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go out and watch this at my bar, and we're going to just, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'll watch it again in the morning so that I can get prep for this show. But I want to watch it at a bar, have a brewski or two, and just enjoy my evening now that I can walk again. So I was watching it with people who watch wrestling maybe in the 80s. Maybe. And they were asking questions, but they're like, this is a lot of fun. When is this on again? Like,
this was a lot of, that was a lot of fun. And who is that chick?
Oh, Liv Morgan.
Yeah. There was a lot of who is that chick in there. Like, I bet, because I'm sorry, say what you will, but there was nobody like the women that they have there in the 80s when Saturday Night's Main Event was airing.
Not at all.
Not even near.
Not even near.
Wendy Richter was the closest thing you had to that. And that was 80s hot.
The big hair. And Yep. 80s hot.
The big hair, the pancake, the pancake backs.
Yep. Yeah, Liv Morgan. My God, have mercy. I actually completely lost my train of thought.
You love yourself some Liv Morgan. I have no issue with that at all. There's a few of them in there. Oh yeah,
but no, it was a great show from beginning to end. Dax, we'll talk about AEW a little later. Let us get to the Facebook group, because there was some feedback this week, and as we do here each and every single week on A Plus Wrestling, just love taking it to the people and getting people's feedback. Best way to leave feedback is we have a thread each and every single week, usually posted around Friday. Facebook.com and search for A Plus Productions. That's where you can find all things A Plus Productions, because we're more than just a wrestling show. But let us go. Our friend and old fuck himself, Joe Aguinaldo, said this: Seth Rollins is single-handedly proving that baby faces don't need to be stupid. KO's heel work with Cody is old school in a modern presentation. The New Day stuff is tremendous, and they are new once again. I love that.
Don't get me started with that.
I know, right? I love that. Classic Tony Storm is back, but I'm a miss the throwing of the shoes. Let's talk about this stuff. I guess we will talk a little bit AEW. Let's quickly talk about the Tony Storm stuff. Did you watch Collision?
I unfortunately did not because of Saturday night's main event. I actually am going to do so today, but I did see social media clips of Tony Storm and her, because my biggest thing, I did see her wrestle on Rampage, but
so you're the guy who watched it.
Yeah, well, call it glutton for punishment or true fan, whichever you want to go. But I will say, it's almost like her wrestling style is like reinvigorated.
Yep.
If you did watch that match on Rampage, I was like, damn, she's faster than she actually did a Leo Rush move when going to the ropes and just cut off and go to the other ropes.
Yep.
I was like, I've never seen her do that before. That was insane.
Yep.
It's like she reinvigorated herself. But then I was like, all right, the wrestling was always there. I need to hear the promo. If she's going back to this old persona, I need to hear the promo, how she does promos this time. So there is a clip out on social media of her doing it, and now she's apparently acting as if she's new to the game, which counts for the reinvigoration.
It's like she forgot the whole timeless era, which is, you know what I really want to see? When
this is going to be interesting.
Reintroduced to Mariah May and acts like they're best friends again.
Well, you see what happened with Jay Briscoe.
Yeah.
Jay Briscoe just looking lost from afar.
I thought he was gonna just burst out laughing.
No, he deadpanned it perfectly. He was like, "What the hell is the matter?" Like Jay Briscoe saying that, Mark Briscoe saying that is just insane. He just looked, that look on his face was just priceless. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this version of her is going to be. She's going to become the modern day Mick Foley.
Oh yeah. Oh, her work right now is tremendous right now. All right,
I still think by the end of the year, she's got to get a nod for rather female wrestler of the year or whatever, because she's been on point since then. But we'll see how this new persona is going to be from here. If she can pull it off, it's incredible.
The New Day. Talk about the New Day. How do you feel about the New Day?
That was pure art, man.
Right?
That was pure art. Did not see the direction that they were coming. It's just utterly amazing what they did. And it was just how this is one of the things that I'm talking about, how well they're doing right now, storytelling. Because you thought that, nobody really wanted to see them break up, and nobody thought that it was going to happen. And E was going to be the clincher
the way
to
it
this.
Happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I was amazed. I was like, I am so in seeing where this is going. This is going to be the Black D Generation X. Let's go. So yeah, and then on top of that, like the second week when they came out to the, Guerrero response from the fans, I was just like, damn. I know Triple H is in the back, just like smoking a cigar.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a beer on the other hand, like, we got him. Yeah. This is going to be incredible.
And like Joe says, it just feels new, which is exactly that new coat of paint that the New Day has needed for a really long time.
No pun. This literally is a new day. This is going to be Triple H's new day, and this is going to be very interesting. Also, are they going to get a third member? Who is it going to be? I don't know. This could go anywhere.
Yep. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
I haven't said that about a New Day story in God knows how many years, to be honest. Like a long time. It's crazy.
Hey, Seth, look, as long as they're not throwing pancakes anymore, I'm good.
Exactly.
I've been done with that.
Seth Rollins single-handedly proving that baby faces don't need to be stupid. I love this. I love this so much.
No, agreed. Seth is just, I love his flamboyancy. I love his eccentric attitude, but I also like the fact that he is smart in the ring, that they don't accept our intelligence. You got to remember, Tyler Black, Bryan Danielson, all these cats, AJ Styles, you got to give credit to Ring of Honor for a lot of this. And I say that because when they were wrestling in Ring of Honor, they wrestled matches that didn't insult our intelligence. This was the first company after the ECW era, after the WCW era, and the WWE repetitive era, where we would see the same matches over and over again. Ring of Honor matches was like, all right, we had this one match, but if we go fight the next time, we're not going to repeat the same thing. We're going to remember what we did the first time around. And AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, hey, give it to Low Key himself, all those guys, they were people that like they paid attention and they made sure that you paid attention. You know, like, so when you're watching that other match, you're like, oh, he about to do, oh, and Kevin Owens as well. These guys, I love it. They don't insult your intelligence, and Triple H is all along with it. He gets that. This is what he wanted. He has the guys to really pull it off really well. So I'm digging what's going on with Rollins and his situation as well. And you know, him and Punk are just deemed to get at it sooner or later too. So I like all of what's going on, how everything connecting.
Yep. And Kevin Owens' heel work with Cody is old school in a modern presentation. And after what happened once cameras stopped rolling last night, you know that Kevin Owens right now is just doing such a great job as a heel. And I just love this new, like, you know, vindicated heel that's happening in WWE right now.
He does what we all knew he could, which what he was not able to do before, but he's doing it now. He is a future Hall of Famer without question. What I love about it too is that like a lot of what these guys have done in the indies, they're able to do now, and they're allowed to do now a little bit more. What's still, tweaking in the WWE, philosophy, but they're giving it a little bit more creative space to do a lot of things and trusting them to do what they're known to do. Like, I love it. Kevin Owens, even when he was under that umbrella, still did not do any wrong for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
He made it work.
He made it work, being so restricted, and that's how you know you're good, when you're restricted to the point that WWE wrestlers were, and you can still stand out.
I always like to call situations like that mastering the art of polka dots.
I like that.
I like that
a lot. Blaine Vandergrind said this: Raw wasn't nearly as good as last week, but at least they were able to move stuff forward and make things make sense. What I love about the Polivek era is that they always keep us marks guessing. We think we have all the answers, and they change the questions. Because there are so many big shows between now and WrestleMania, we don't really know what the actual direction is. And it was Meltzer, of all people, who pointed that out this week. And I kind of agree with him that WWE has been great at inserting little bits of reality into their storylines, so you believe that some of the tension between on-screen may be real, but it's just so believable. I've ranted and raved enough about the other show that I don't really know what else to say. I think one of the big issues is in the production value. Everything in AEW looks and feels exactly like everything else. I remember when WCW was doing pay-per-views on actual beaches and had tanks and giant pumpkins to give each show a different feel. In AEW, there's no difference in appearance between TV shows and pay-per-views, and I guess it's kind of the same with WWE these days. But Winter is Coming, for instance, should be its own pay-per-view. Even with the matches, everyone just wrestles the same style. Maybe I'm old, but I don't want to see a massive dude doing cruiserweight moves. It's cool to see it once, but loses its luster if every big guy does it.
Agreed. I see nothing that Blaine has said that was contrarian or anything like that. Like those are all great points. I don't think every big man should be doing that. He's absolutely correct. I don't think that AEW should make their pay-per-views look like, their normal shows. Production value does play a factor in that. And I think when you look at the production value of WWE, especially because they're now working with the NHL, the NFL, the NBA, and all the stuff, they got to put in that work. So, I agree with him wholeheartedly with that. Like, nothing he said I disagree with any of that.
Yeah, and I know he sounds like he complains a lot, but you know what? He's a passionate guy who just loves this industry the same way that we all do.
He does, but it's all heart.
That's exactly it, right? And again, like it's like Jim Cornette. Yeah.
It's Jim Cornette in a nutshell. It's like Jim Cornette is, you can say what you will about Jim Cornette, but he's just that damn passionate about that industry. He cares. That is his child. He's invested in his life about it. Blaine has the same deal. He carries it a different way, but you got to respect his heart and love for this industry.
Yep. Absolutely. So again, each and every single week, A Plus Productions, that's the group on Facebook where you can find everything for A Plus Wrestling. And every single week we have a feedback thread. And like I said, in the new year, we're going to be thinking of cool ways to have you on this show. And again, you can always just ask, come on the show. This show is about the listeners and anyone who loves pro wrestling. All right, Dax, let us chat some Saturday night's main event. The main event of the week, and boy, oh boy, what a show it was. We already talked about the commentary. We already talked about the production. We talked about Jesse Ventura. By the way, his nod to Jake the Snake was awesome.
I love that. He said that was Damien.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Pat McAfee back 2 for one night. I thought that was awesome too.
Yes, and he'll be back full time once Raw's on Netflix. But it was great having him. And again, like,
wait, time out. I was wondering about that. Is he that, or is he SmackDown?
He's they're Michael Cole and McAfee are going to be moved to Raw.
Where's Joe Chessatore going?
Probably SmackDown with Corey and Bad News Bear.
Oh, interesting. Yep. I mean, that could work too. I mean, Joe Tessitore can work with anybody. It's not a big. I just thought that, like, isn't that the flag show you want him to be on? I guess. I don't know. We'll see. That's interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's been 16 years since WWE last held a Saturday night's main event on NBC. And the one thing that I was worried about, and I was very curious to see, my friend, and again, you got to compare these stuff just because it's something that happens. And that's kind of having that less than special feeling. Dare I say, like, Battle of the Belts just doesn't feel special anymore.
No, it does not.
It doesn't. So when you have a quarterly show, this honestly did feel like a PLE on free TV.
Absolutely. I would absolutely argue this may be, and I maybe have to look back at the archive versions before they leave Peacock, but I would argue this is the best Saturday night's main event they've actually had, because they actually had main events in each match. Each match mattered. Whereas there have been Saturday night's main event shows where it's like some of these matches are throwaways.
Oh yeah.
Or transitional.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you could argue that this can be one of the best to date at best.
Absolutely. The crowd was awesome. Also, the crowd just added so much to it. They were hot all show.
It was smart to have it in New York. What do you expect? It's exactly. Like you have it in New York or Philly to get that reaction.
It. Or Toronto, right? Or Chicago. Like, those 4 cities are the only 4 that could hold.
Absolutely.
The nostalgia. Let's talk about the nostalgia before we talk about the show. This is something which it's weird that it's Paul Levesque bringing back, because Vince, I feel like he hated thinking about the past, but I just love how WWE right now embraces the past. Even from the show opening, they didn't have the classic intro, but they had a classic feel, a retro intro. The WWE
the filters
symbol,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
The WWE symbol looking like the old WWF symbol. That was awesome. Even the entrance looked like the old early 90s entrance. Like, I love that.
Did you see, like, the guardrails?
Yeah, having the guardrails.
And how close it was.
Exactly.
And they had security right behind them. That is old school. And like, you don't mess with the security. Like, if you touch any of them wrestlers going down and they don't like it, you're done. So,
and kudos to the fans for not getting. I was a little nervous when Liv Morgan was coming out.
Because you heard her saying, like, don't touch, but she stopped saying that after a while, so you knew she was in character the whole entire time. So, yeah, I saw that too. I absolutely peeped that. No, the production value, yeah, I agree. It was fantastic. But when you talk about Triple H, we shouldn't be surprised. Triple H is a NWA dude. He's a Crockett dude. Like, he grew up with Arn Anderson doing promos and loving that style and the Horsemen and all this stuff. He grew up on that. And that's what he tries to put, he sprinkles a little bit of that seasoning into this modern era. He did it with NXT when he first was working on that. You saw that, he showed for the first time. You know, all the years that we used to call him he call him for his politicking and all this stuff. Now we see what he was planning to do after all this time. Like, he's been trying to rebuild from within, and it's worked. And look what we got because of it.
Absolutely. It was such a fun show. Honestly, when we're talking best of the year, this might be my favorite show of the year. Like, legitimately. Wow. I had so much fun watching this, from Jesse Ventura to everything. Like, everything about this show is so well done. A lot of people mentioned the amount of commercials. It had the same number of commercials, people. You just didn't feel it because it was a different rundown than a Raw or a SmackDown, because there were no promos, there were no interviews. It was all wrestling.
And on top of that, it ended on time.
Well, yes, that was huge.
You got Michael Cole saying goodnight, everybody. and Saturday Night Live just came on right after that. So it's like, all right, bet. So
Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn opened up the show. This was a fun, quick match, and I love the fact that there was no bullshit. Drew McIntyre won with the Claymore kick out of nowhere, basically, and it was just a fun, quick match.
I can't wait till Sammy gets his flowers and gets his ring too. Like, I mean, he's one of the best openers you can have in that company. Like, he can do a great opener or main event with anybody, and it just comes off. He knows how to set he masters setting. And again, when it's all said and done, we need to really start to look at his artistry. I think Sami Zayn is a study, because people forget that his charisma is so great that he played a character that didn't really say anything.
Exactly.
Forever.
Ever.
And he was still able to have one of the greatest feuds with Kevin Steen, ergo Kevin's Owens, for the longest time without saying a word. And then he comes out, when he talks, you find out he can talk too. And then he is wrestling, his, Lucha Libre style, wrestling style. And yeah, it's just, he's an incredible study, man. People need to go back and really check him out, but I can't wait till he, get his due when the time comes, and it's got to. You're not going to give him credit, and you give Coco Beware credit, damn it.
We're going to talk about that in a second. Drew McIntyre, one of the best heels in all of wrestling right now. Bringing his heel work into reality, walking out of the busted open into, that was so well. Like, Drew McIntyre on X or on social media, it's just been fantastic. His work.
I love his storyline too. It makes sense. His storyline makes all the sense in the world. It's incredible.
Vindicated heel.
Yes. Everything that has happened prior to, and still connecting it and still making it new and still refreshing it, just, moving the parts around a bit. It's just really greatly well written.
But you know what my favorite part about all of this was, and I picked it up, and it's something that I took a note of. Every major story right now in WWE, and this just goes to show you how good this story is kind of spiraled out of something to do with the bloodline.
Which is absolutely incredible. I'm still catching up with the whole bloodline thing, because the Peacock archives of that. What I hate that they do is that they make you watch every single show to get to those parts. I wish they just cut the show and just make it there so I could catch up, faster with the storyline. But this is an incredible soap opera-esque type of saga that we're able to enjoy, and it's just an amazing road of how far they've come. I mean, we talk about the Horseman storyline for years on end. This is the closest thing to the Horseman. This is the modern day Horseman storyline that we have, and it is just incredible. Like, years from now, we're going to look back at this, and people are going to try to replicate it. It's going to be hard to replicate a dynasty storyline like this. Yep. It's just awesome.
Absolutely, abso-freaking-lutely. All right, let us move on to the next. So before the next match, we saw Chico Santana, Jimmy Hart, and Rich Herring. They're in attendance. Really cool. And then they did a very smart video package to show you the challenger and the champion and why this match matters.
Absolutely. Just the presentation is just fantastic, man. I hope they do everything but more, just more of this. in a long way. It's just so many right things. Let me tell you, even before I stopped watching WWE for all those years, the one thing I always admired about them was their production value, was their visual presentation, and the graphic design, and the logo design and all the stuff. I fancied all of that, and it still holds reign to this day. It's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. This match was fast again, but it was well done. You know, honestly, Liv Morgan might get my vote for most improved of the year. She's held her own against Io Sky. I know Io Sky can fight a mop and make the mop look good, but Liv Morgan really stood her own in this match. Took a nasty knee to the face, but still powered through and finished the match.
Io is starting to fight more like Stardom style lately. If you notice,
yep.
Like some of those kicks and knees, they ain't hold them back. I guess she's waiting for Julia to come up or whatever. Like
yeah, just wait till Julia shows up, and like Julia and Io, or Julia and Asuka, or Stephanie Vakir and
or Kairi saying,
yeah, like these women are going to kick the shit out of each other.
Oof. It's gonna be beautiful.
Liv Morgan retains a clean victory. She gets the double boots and hits the Oblivion to retain. Very fun and quick match. Thoughts on this?
Can I also give her credit for doing that Oblivion move, which is not an easy move to pull off, mind you. I mean, just a credit to the evolution of that division of wrestlers that has done. I mean, the Trish Stratuses, the Wendy Richters, the Medusas, they're all looking at this. It's just like, I can't believe how much we've paid that way for them to work their asses off to get to this point. It is just, it's an awesome thing to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Morgan walking up the aisle. Rhea Ripley confronts her to remind us that this is still happening, and you cannot have a network special without arguably one of your biggest stars in Rhea Ripley.
Absolutely. Even if not for just a little bit, that's a little bit goes a long way with Rhea Ripley. And man, you're your Morgan is my Rhea.
Oh man,
unbelievable.
I want to play Darkstalkers now.
How about that? Perfect.
Finn Balor versus Damian Priest versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship match. Triple threat. Man, we harp on triple threat matches or multi-people matches in WWE, but they have been doing them properly lately. Logical. It hasn't been this get one person out and the two people fight in the ring. Like, they've been able to do it in such a way where every move matters, and it's like it's like playing a game of chess.
Again, you got all three indies. These three people who've done this in the indies, done great jobs in the indies. You got a guy with Triple H who's in the back, who understands the situation, and I always wonder how much of indie wrestling did Triple H actually watch. I feel like he is a lot more. I feel like than we even believe. Yeah, because I mean, he trusts them a lot to do what they know they could do best, and it's working. It's working. This match was just fantastic. It was well balanced. They all did play to their strengths, and they played with amongst their others, their opponent's strength. Got professionals.
Damian Priest with a rope walk a la Undertaker, but ends it with a crossbody on Gunther, which was really cool. I like kind of seeing that, the homage to the dead man, not Mark Henry, on the Undertaker. This match was really good. Like I say, I really like this, and Gunther looked strong because Gunther took out both guys to win the match. He power bombs Damian Priest outside on the stairs, which the fact that he picked him up when almost dropping him, like from just
he got a second win.
Yeah, crazy. And then he power bombed Finn Balor to win.
Yeah, what I loved about that for a hot second, I can't speak for any other fan, but for a hot second, I'm like, could they change that title? And it almost felt like they were going to do that, but it's like, It was great, and that's when it was really good. When they really make you kind of know at sometimes when you know how a match is going to go, but every once in a while, if they could take you away from that thought, and it's like, oh my god, are they really going to? And then it's like, okay, no.
Yeah, and they did a good job of making you think that Finn Balor or Damian Priest would win, even though you knew in your heart of hearts that Gunther was going to win. But they did a good job. But that's wrestling, man. That is the beauty of wrestling.
Absolutely.
Jesse Ventura says he loves Liv Morgan for taking the shot to the head and still winning, and my favorite line of the night. And Dominic knows how to pick women.
Oh, I'm not. You know what? Another guy I've enjoyed so much. I get why everybody loves this guy, and he's an amazing dude too. He's living up to both Ray and Eddie at the same time, and it's just an awesome thing to see this kid get to where he is right now and earn where he is. You can't do Nepo. You can't do Nepo in wrestling. No. You just can't.
Yep.
Ask one of the Von Erichs. Ask Lacey Von Erich.
Ask Lacey Von Erich how that goes. Yeah. Women's United States Championship Tournament Final, Chelsea Green versus Mean Sheen. Dude, Michael Cole calling out TNA at the start of this match.
Surreal. I'm just sitting there like, because he normally does it, but I'm like, no, this is Saturday night's main event. This is a traditional special marquee staple on nationally syndicated TV, and they're giving TNA props. Blew my mind, and I'm like, oh, the two things I was saying, like, TNA must be like flipping their shit right now, flipping tables in happiness of this. And then, it wasn't like just one time. It was like 3 or 4 times that they kept mentioning that these two were former TNA wrestlers. Got to give it to Levesque for that. Yep. 2, if Vince still owned this company, he would be flipping tables out of anger right now, because that would never happen.
Never would have happened. They would have edited it out, like, from live airing somehow. Chelsea Green, such a great character. And yeah. What I loved about this match is her facials, like her faces throughout the match.
Yeah.
Like, she is such a star. She just gets it. And her homage to something, well, I guess she didn't wear Keith Lee over her getup, but just having her own face in her getup, oh, so good. Would have been funny if she put Keith Lee the face throughout her.
Just like a little spot in there where people could detect. No, let me tell you, she is fantastic. She is their Harley Cameron over there, but Harley Cameron doesn't have the wrestling ability that she has, but they both have the personality. I swear, if Harley Cameron ever gets into WWE and those two it's done.
You're done.
It's done. But with that said, yeah, this was a long time coming. This was awesome. This was in her hometown. I mean, the one little critique I got was that it got a little sloppy down the end, but they got their stuff back up, and the finish was just great. And the celebratory moment was just fantastic. I was so happy for her. And the match period, because they, despite that, blemish, they both worked really hard with this match.
The end worked out, right? Like, it's and that's all that matters. And Piper Niven just took an ass kicking throughout the match. That was awesome.
Right. Well, you know what? That's my only other issue, because I've seen this happen before in other shows. At some point, and I know they needed her as a filler for some spots and all that stuff, but at some point, storyline wise and rule book wise, if you see them interfering, you need to get them out of there. And second, if your opponent is attacking said other out, I feel like that should be a disqualification too. Am I wrong?
It used to be.
Yeah, I could have sworn. Like, how is she able to get assaulted?
At the same time, I like the fact that Michin went after Piper Niven, knowing that Piper Niven is gonna do something mischievous, and right? I get that part. But the fact that the referee allows that is kind of weird. Referee discretion. There we go. Chelsea Green does a flip forward off the top rope into an Unpretty Her, and
that was beautiful.
The first ever women's U.S. champion. Such a great ending, such a fun ending.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at Chelsea Green's facial expressions as she does the flip and the Unpretty Her, you'll know why she got the belt.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was. I knew that she was probably going to win. I felt like there was a bigger chance of her winning because you want that heel to win, and especially one with as charismatic as her. Michin could have won that too, but at the same time, I don't think she has that spark that they're looking for to be that champion yet. So she's the perfect person to really kind of put that title in a position right now, and I thought it was awesome, and she's well deserved because she's been around for a hot minute. Both of them have.
Absolutely. Good match. There we go. Chelsea Green, winner. We jump to Coco Beware and Greg the Hammer Valentine in the house. Every time I see Hall of Famer Coco Beware, I just laugh.
I've been haggling him for a long time. I mean, I just feel like there's so many other Hall of Famers that deserve to be there before him. It's just like I almost think that the Bird should be there even before him. So it's like that's the only reason why he's in there is because of the Bird. He's never had any real angles. He's never had any real storylines. He's never had a title in that company, mind you. He's been a champion in other promotions in the territory era before, but he was never that Coco Beware. They never let him be that Coco Beware before. So I don't know if they're just celebrating all of Coco Beware or just that version.
Yep. And Jesse Ventura joins Cole and Pat McAfee on commentary. Like I said, he sounded amazing. He sounded like he knew what was going on. And his quips, like honestly, his jokes. I just love how it's like,
he still got it.
My favorite was like, you should never turn on your friend, and that's why Kevin Owens is right. Like
he does his homework. I mean, you got to remember, like Jesse is not only just a consummate professional in wrestling. He's a politician as well. You got to make sure that, if you're he knows how to cater to his audience. He knows what he has to do to cater to his audience. I mean, he hasn't been, what is he, governor of Minnesota? Yep.
Governor of Minnesota.
For multiple years. You know what I'm saying? So like this, I mean, he's older than he has been before. He's no longer the Predator dude. He's no longer, the body or whatever like that. But he still got it, man. He still got his wits in, and it worked. It flowed really well. I was happy. He knew where he needed to get in, and it worked out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was so well done. It's just like, Jesse Ventura. If you had told me at the beginning of this year that by the end of the year, Michael Cole and Jesse Ventura would call a match on NBC, I would have just laughed at you.
I think he would have said the same thing.
Right?
Because even he acknowledged it on the show. It's like, him and Pat McAfee are like sitting in a moment right now with one of the greatest. And I also love the fact that he tooted his own horn when he said basically, you're
here because of me.
You're here because of me. It's like
you're making money because of me.
Absolutely. Like, and they respectfully agreed. Especially McAfee, because if anybody's close to that, charismatic, flamboyant type of, persona, it's McAfee.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. This match was the only match that had a bit of a weird ending, not your clean ending. So there's 2 ref bumps. Cody Rhodes caused both of them. Kevin Owens brings a chair to the ring. Chair doesn't get used because Cody sees it, but then Cody Rhodes ends up using the chair when he does a crossroads onto it to retain. I just love how Jesse Ventura called him out on it. It's like, you cheater. He cheated.
Of all people, once again, classic Jesse.
Like the amount of times I used to call out Hogan. I feel like that, like they did that on purpose for that reason.
Yeah. I also like the fact that he did point out that he never wrestled Dusty, which I wish they would have. Can you imagine if that matchup at Madison Square Garden would have been? The promos for those two.
But yeah, man.
That'd have been fantastic.
This was a good match. Like, honestly, Kevin Owens plays such a good heel. Cody Rhodes, anyone who says that Cody Rhodes isn't a good champ, look at the camera angles as Cody Rhodes is coming out, the amount of phones out, like the pops, people singing to his song. Like, I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes is over, and he's doing such a great job.
What sexless vocal minority idiots are saying that?
Exactly. You nailed the nail on the head with that comment right there, my friend.
Bad they ain't nailing anything because they would have saw that this guy is money. Like,
exactly.
Are you just leftover AEW haters from this point? That's come like, dude. We're way past that moment of thinking that Cody is not that dude, and even back then, he shouldn't have been thinking that because he was that dude. We just live in a short attention society of people that just get tired of things easily.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. That was the show. But after the show, Cody Rhodes gets on the mic. Kevin Owens attacks him, does a package pile driver, takes out Cody. Cody gets stretchered out. Kevin Owens takes the winged. We haven't even talked about the winged WWE belt.
The winged eagle. Right.
Yeah, the winged eagle. Yeah. Love seeing that.
You know what's funny? I've never been a fan of the winged eagle belt as much as other people have. But compared to the new belt, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Bring that belt back. Nice. It looks like a professional title.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, Kevin Owens takes out Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes gets stretchered out. Kevin Owens steals the title on his way out. Triple H and Cody Rhodes have a few words.
So I didn't see that. Where did you?
No, this is all done after the show. So this.
Yeah, I figured that because all I saw was the church lady. Yeah. was starting that live.
Yeah, no. Right after Cody won, they finished, and then as he takes the mic to, I guess, like thank the crowd, and that's when Owens attacks him. And I love how they're doing a lot of the storylines off of WWE TV, but they plaster them all over social media, and you know you're going to be seeing that footage on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah. Here's the other thing too. I knew when he gave Orton the pile driver, the regular pile driver, that the package pile driver was coming back. There's so many evident, examples and proof that Vince is not here.
Oh yeah.
That is yet another one. Like, I've been waiting for Kevin Owens to be able to do the package pile driver since he got there. And I knew the rules, and I'm like, okay, he is out. That old man is out the door. There's so many examples. He might as well just wore a TNA shirt while he did it.
Right.
Just amazing.
So well done, man. And I love the fact that because the pile driver was banned and barred for so many years,
it means
now
much
that Kevin
more.
Owens uses exactly every time he uses it, he takes someone out.
That is his version of. You know what it is? That is his version of the Styles Clash in Japan.
Yes.
Because even to this day, I mean, once like AJ does the Styles Clash, that is it. Or the One Winged Angel. It's like you don't kick out of these certain moves and all this stuff. So I mean, it's just awesome. They're playing to this road. Oh, let's not forget that they do also mention New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom as well every so often.
Absolutely.
So that's the other thing too. Can I ask you one question in wrestling politics?
Of course.
Jesse coming back. Do you think, or was it a sort of a political move because of his history with Vince and other things? Because I know he's been back 100%. Prior to
100%.
Okay. 100%. Especially with the documentary out and everything, and we learned new things about the situations.
Yep. 100%. I think it was, and fans love Jesse Ventura. They love the body.
Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah. And that's something that WWE is really doing good on, is listening to their fans. Look at WrestleMania.
Just something that they used to do often in the attitude area. Like I remember one of the things that I appreciated about Vince McMahon during that time. I want to emphasize on that. During that time was that he used to come out to the ring, especially when mentioning, clapping back at WCW, is that we give the fans what they want. And he relied on that campaign that we give the fans, which he did at the time to combat what he was doing. But lo and behold, that we knew that was just a farce until he took over everything. Yep. And then he just went back to why did you even have to stop at that point? That's when you got cocky. Yep. In 2001. Mm-hmm. So I do like that they're going back to the giving the fans, because that was, to me, I learned about how to do business, how to make, your target audience happy, your consumer base happy. You got to give the people what they want. It's just simple as that. Why did you start? Then also learned about monopolies too at 2001 at that point too.
And why monopolies aren't good. The thing about keeping your fans happy is that you then feel a connection to the company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
But isn't that what AEW used to be in 2019 to 2023?
Perfect
whatever.
Segue. Yeah, perfect segue. Yeah, that's exactly. And I'm not saying that they don't do that anymore, but
I feel like it's cut in half.
They've become stubborn.
He has become stubborn. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
He who will remain mentioned as Tony Khan. I mean, I still respect what he's done. I still respect what he's trying to do, but I feel like he's his own problem because you changed what didn't need to be changed. You made all these changes about things that you look at what we were experiencing and enjoying in 2019, 20, 21, 22. Just fantastic. Why did you started changing the ambiance of everything, the format, the presentation, all that? Like things were just changing for no reason. Yeah. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of situation.
But that's the thing, right? They are trying to fix something that wasn't broken and end up breaking it, and now they don't know how to fix it. Anything in AEW that you specifically want to talk about? Like we have the Continental Classic happening. Does anyone matter? It doesn't feel as special as last year.
The matches are still solid.
Yes,
they're still great, and it's just still the beginning. I think as we get near, but I still, the matches have been great. I love the matches. Even my wife to some extent was getting a little bit interested in the sports centric aspect of it, of how the round robin tournament was going. So there are some things that are doing right. I don't really have anything to say right now because we need to get down to the gritty, but the matches to me has been solid. I think the Continental Classic right now is the only thing that's really captivating me right now because the Death Rider thing, it's there. When you compare that to the storyline of the Bloodline, it doesn't hold yet. And maybe it's because, again, rightfully so. I think part of the work shoot aspect of it, of Moxley really wanting these kids to step up. That's the problem. You're the heavy in this story, but you don't have anybody to carry the weight with you.
Yeah.
Who is there to carry that weight? Like if this is a scale, Moxley and the Death Riders are like insanely weighing down on any potential of what these guys can do. Like we love Orange, we love Darby, but they're not. They're still mid-Carter level. It feels like to us.
One of the biggest problems, right, is the AEW is exposing the fact that they haven't been able to create legitimate main eventers.
Meanwhile, their actual main events aren't even connected to the main event situation.
Yeah.
Like you got Ospreay right there. That dude he should be the one in the forefront of that whole thing. Even Ricochet to some extent, maybe, but I don't know what they're doing with him right now. With he seems like he's making a big shift in his moral and ethical, road. I don't know if he's going to join the Hurt Syndicate or whatever.
Does.
Yeah, I hope he does too. But right now, I just take it as a transitional, slow, groove right now. See where it goes. We're about to end the year. Let's see where January takes us with this company so far.
Seems a lot of stories are going to be ending at World's End. We got MJF versus Adam Cole finally. Hopefully that ends, and hopefully they never touch each other ever again for years because that has been one of the lowlights of AEW, unfortunately.
Mostly because of the inconsistency, and that was due to the injuries.
Yeah.
That, put a damper on that. Because, God, again, a lot has happened in 2024. When they were together, that was the last hottest angle that they had in that company.
Yep.
And I think right after Wembley is when really things started to dilute.
Yep.
For me. And then Tony Storm was just keeping everything afloat, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how this goes. But to me, it's on a level. It's not going any higher. It's not going any lower right now, but they're on a level. I guess that's great for what we got. We'll see what happens when they move to Max, which I'm looking forward to, because that means if that means I don't have to look at the stupid commercials anymore, which I'm hoping that's the case. I'm looking forward to watching it on Max.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. AEW. We'll see what happens. And then again, giving AEW all the credit, they've forced WWE to step up, and here we are. Right. I hope that they can find their way and laser focus into a positive 2025. You're going to get more eyes on the product. Let's make sure that it's a good product that gets eyes.
Looked like I was the only one that thought about the Tony Storm theory.
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you.
That's freaking awesome. Awesome.
And by the way, that came up on my Facebook feed, and it was posted minutes after you made that comment.
Damn the algorithm.
Right?
I'm so tired of this algorithm. God, don't mention any companies right now. That might pop up. Exactly.
So there you go. That's
social media sometimes.
I know it's scary sometimes. So that is that. In the next few weeks, we're gonna have the best and the worst. You're gonna see the link in the thread for this show or the show notes. Fill out your form, fill out your ballot for best and the worst of 2024, and we're going to be having those shows for you at some point in the near future. Really looking forward to that. A Plus Productions, EHPLUS Productions. .com is the place to find all things A Plus Productions, and we're part of A Plus Productions here at A Plus Wrestling Facebook group. Just search for A Plus Productions. It's a fun little group. Tons always happen on the group, and like I say, we have a weekly feedback section for this show. Always fun. Dax, tell everyone where they can find you.
Well, when I'm not here, haggling it up with Boris, I am at my own home at Talk Time Live. It is the podcast that covers all things anime, comics, movies, and games. You can check all that out on TalkTimeLive.com, where you can check out all of my audio episodes and video exclusives with many of your favorite actors, video game producers, you name it, music producers, ever. I interview quite a bit of people, especially this year. This year has been crazy. And it might get just as crazy as well in the course of a few days. But, going to New York Comic Con and covering that again, and, getting Charlemagne, the God of all people, to do a press interview with that. You can check that out there. You can check out my interview with Bandai Namco from this past New York Comic Con, but a lot of other great content on there you can check out as well. If you're an anime fan, you definitely don't want to miss out on who's on my on TalkTimeLive.com. So go out of there, check it out. You can also subscribe and download wherever podcasts are played. Apple Podcasts, Google, Podbean, Audible. We're just everywhere where podcasts are played. Just type in ACMG Presents Talk Time Live on the search engine, or Google ACMG Presents Talk Time Live there, and don't miss a beat.
Don't miss a beat. Indeed. Always a fun show. It's one of the shows that I listen to each and every single week. I don't really listen to too many podcasts, but that is one for sure. Again, yeah, awesome. Dax, thanks for joining me this week. We'll have you back very soon. Always a pleasure to chat some wrestling with you and with everyone else. Always a pleasure.
Always.
On behalf of Dax and everyone here at A Plus Wrestling and A Plus Productions, thank you so much for listening. Whether this has been the first show or the 100th show that you're listening to, we thank you so much. We wouldn't be anywhere without our listeners. Thank you so much. And until next week, stay tranquilo.